Welcome back to another video. We are going down to our favorite place, Grand Isle, Louisiana, which is the bottom tip, if you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, the bottom of South Louisiana, about as south as you can get. Did some fishing videos. I did a number of videos here last year. It is now February 15th, and we headed down here for a rare winter time, if you call it winter. It's 77 degrees here. Weird trip down here because we're going to get our Wingbits station back online. It's been online at a temporary location, basically laying on the ground, but just so I can keep it online and not get in trouble. My buddy moved out of his old fishing camp last year, and it was very upsetting. But I'll get into that in a minute. But showing y'all that we are running Natics. You know, I don't run Natics as much anymore, but when I'm on long trips like this, I will run Natics. And then I'm also running, of course, my new favorite project, Chirp Kage. And you can see that we've had a 2-hour drive from here, from the house so far, a little over 2 hours, and I've got 4,000 Bluetooths, over 1,000 Wi-Fi, and 39 cellular. So I got some good points that are building up. And I'll probably clear it out shortly just so I don't run it up too much. I don't want to crash and lose anything. So yeah, my Wingbits station down here has been laying down on the ground. Like I said, my buddy called me a few weeks ago saying that his new place is ready and I was welcome to come put that device back up. And what happened was, with Geosigners coming, I did not want to come take a ride all the way down here in 2 hours. I wasn't fishing, and I have been doing that like ham radio type stuff like I normally do when I'm down here, when I do a fishing day and a ham radio day. So I just waited for the Geosigners to come in. Finally got a couple of Geosigners, and I'm still waiting on about 12 of them that were stuck in customs for over a week. I don't blame Wingbits nothing but for that. That is strictly on customs, trying to get that in. But either way, I'm still waiting on about 12 or 13 of them. So I've been kind of putting them here and there as I needed. I got a couple from family members and stuff like that because I help with theirs and using theirs, and I'll replace them because they're not tied to a machine until you plug it in. So our new Geosigners will be coming in soon. So now that I got a Geosigner in my hand, I decided to come down here and spend my Saturday trying to get up 30 feet somehow and putting this Wingbits station online and everything back here. I will say I'm kind of excited to see what it does. You know, for those who caught the videos in the past, my Grand Isle station was only 10 feet off the ground, so it shows you don't need crazy elevation if you have wide open area. And you know, it was literally 10 feet from the Gulf of Mexico with no obstruction. So it was getting, that station outperformed all my other stations easily, especially when it could get darn near to Cuba. So now it's going to be about 30 feet up. I'm curious to see what 20 feet elevation makes a difference. You know, those airplanes are 40,000 feet in the air, but eventually there's a pesky thing, despite what some people want to argue, there's a pesky thing called curvature of the earth, and you have to worry about that. So 20 feet up, and whatever formula the curvature of the earth is, I'm hoping it gives me, hey, if that can get me into just 3 or 4 more hexes, you know, 3 more hexes, that should be like 75 wings. So we'll see how that works out. So I'm excited about that. There's a lot of stuff going on in crypto. I told you all about Chirp Kage, and there's just a bunch of things going on right now. So we got some rough seas ahead. This is the Gulf of Mexico ahead of us. And here in Grand Isle, because with the Mississippi River so close that pours out a lot of water, you don't have no blue, you know, water, clear water like you do in Florida and different places like that. This Gulf of Mexico right here is muddy. You know, one thing I wish I could fabricate is some kind of external antenna for Kage. I think you would get a lot more connections. But I looked, you know, these phones, Samsung phones, do not have any type of external antenna connector where you could take, say, like the bottom USB port and plug some type of antenna into it. But I think, you know, if you had an external antenna to pick up a lot more SSIDs, it would be great. And maybe use more cellular stuff. I'm sure that they got some people trying to do contraptions. You know, old-fashioned aluminum foil, make the aluminum foil into a dish. But I know, like, when I go through certain neighborhoods, I must look like a fool, because what I will do is I will actually take this foam and I'll hold it up like this, and I'll just put my hand up here like I'm resting it. You know, like I'm just resting it up here, but really I'm holding it up. And you'd be surprised. That's what I did actually throughout the Super Bowl. And you laugh, but you watch how much the numbers jump just for me doing that. That's the crazy part. This glass blocks a lot of, you know, SSIDs. But yeah, when I was doing the Super Bowl thing, if y'all saw that video, I was actually looking. You can see the Wi-Fi's jumping up, and they come up in bunches and stuff. Look at that. So when it's outside this window, you have your window open, you can see these numbers jumping. It's absolutely crazy. But you know, we don't know what the rewards are going to be. One thing that they are cautioning us about this Chirp Kage app is Chirp is just supposed to be kind of a supplement way to get a couple of tokens if you don't have the Chirp Blackbird miner. Luckily, I have one, and I'm doing very good with that. So I think at one time I was making $20-something a day. I think it's come down because the Chirp token has come down. So for anybody who's caught my other videos, when I talk about, you know, this channel is not about getting Lambos or anything like that with crypto. And I always joke that it's because I can't fit in a Lambo. But I've always said I wanted a good fishing boat. And I plan on putting on the side of it, crypto is a scam on one side and Bitcoin is a Ponzi on the other side, for all the people who doubted crypto and Bitcoin and stuff. And I think a boat like this with some twin 300s on the back, two of them, you know, nice fishing boat like that would look perfect with crypto, Bitcoin is a scam, Ponzi fishing boat. It's a good goal to have as soon as we get this bull market started. All right, so we are finally done with our Grand Isle station. It only took about 3 hours longer than it should have. And I don't know why I will ever expect anything different. I keep telling y'all about my luck. And my luck is that if it's gonna go wrong, it will. Now, I had this outdoor box. I bought it from Amazon, one I've been using for a while. And I made sure I had everything connected. I even this time put a smart plug inside of it so that I could remotely, with an app, turn off power to turn it back on to recycle power and stuff. But the host location, and of course the person who was there had no idea of how to get into the router or anything. There was nothing as far as password or anything to get in the router on the box, but the 2.4G was not turned on. So 2.4 Wi-Fi didn't exist. So therefore the Pi that's in there for Wingbits and the smart plug could not see internet. So I had to take a Wi-Fi card that I luckily had in my truck, and now it's going to cost me, I think I'm paying like $30 a month for that service, and now that's stuck in that box. But this location, if I'm getting what I got the last time that this station was up, I should be getting, hopefully, we have no idea what Wingbits is going to reward yet, and that will make a determination, to be honest, if this station does stay online, because if it doesn't reward well, then I'm not going to pay for service to a location that's not rewarding. I'm not going to lose money like I was doing with Helium. So I had to go and luckily, as a backup, I kind of had a feeling I was worried about something like this. So last night, instead of playing Call of Duty, I programmed my Wingbits device and the smart plug to that Pi, because I wanted to be able to get into it when I was out there so that I could change over to Wi-Fi. And I've learned that lesson in the past too, is when you bring a new device to somebody's house, you have to be able to get into it the first time. And some modems don't have Ethernet connections, so you're not plugging it in. So what I've been doing is when I go to a different location with a new Wingbits device, I've learned, because I learned my lesson from Missouri, to have it tethered to something with a MiFi card. Makes it easier. In this case, the MiFi is now staying up there. So luckily I had a powered USB hub inside of there. and that's what the power for that's where the Pi is getting that power from, and then that's where the MiFi is gonna get its power from. Another thing is the host address on it. This guy was, you know, into like FlightAware or something like that, so I named the host FlightAware, even though I told him it's not directly like it, and he's not even worried about getting compensated or anything like that. But because he's not really worried about getting, he's just a good friend of mine, but he had some stipulations on where it was going to be installed at. And the issue, one thing was, he didn't want me to post any videos over there. He has a brand new camp over there that he just built, and I say camp, but I guarantee you it's better than a lot of people's houses. Brand new from the ground up, and some of the furnishings inside of it, sink, bathroom and stuff like that, was better than my house. So he was very particular on where this was installed at. And at first I thought he was going to have a fit over where it was eventually getting installed. The problem is where he wanted the box at this is my first victim of the Geosigner not being long enough, and I couldn't get it outside. And the kind of room that it's in on the outside, above that room is not just a regular roof line, because everything in Grand Isle has to be on your second story. Insurance will not cover anything on the first story because of the amount of flooding from the Gulf of Mexico during any kind of storm. So I have my box and stuff high up, 5-6 feet up in that bottom floor, so I don't have to worry about flooding. But the Geosigner, there's no way of getting it outside, and it's only getting 5 or 6 satellites. So no, that's that issue. But hey, this is stuff that we knew we were going to start coming across with these Geosigners, but it tells me that I might need to go online on Amazon, and if I can remember, I'll look and put a link to help y'all out. But this is telling me that I probably need to be prepared for some of my roof access, which if I get my Geosigners in by Wednesday, I have to go to Baton Rouge on Wednesday, and I will be working on my roof access, and I'll do some type of video for that also, just so y'all can kind of see, because I know a lot of y'all have inquired on that. But I might need to have some of them SMA extensions so that I can get it outside, because today clearly showed that while so far my host have been able to put the little satellite thing inside the window, or I've been putting it inside my outdoor boxes when the box was out in the open, and I've been getting 20 satellites. Today's the first time where it's got 5, 6, 7. I kept testing it with a Wingbits status command, and it kept showing anywhere between 5, 6, and 7. Well, there's a restaurant down the street I like to eat at when I leave from over there, called the Starfish, and they have great onion rings. I know it's really great for my diet right now. But anyway, while I'm sitting there, I get an alert from Wingbits that my station's offline. So now I kind of panicked that, is this going to be an ongoing issue? This place is 2.5 hours from my house. So I go online, sure enough, I can see the TAR 1090 screen with no problem. However, it's telling my Geosigner can't be found. I'm having that issue with another station, and if I remember, I'll show you the picture right here, where it's on top of, the Geosigner is actually outside on top of a roof with a clear sky, and it's not picking up satellites. And I had to go reseat that one. It comes online for an hour or two, or a day maybe, and then goes offline again. The Geosigner does, and says there's no Geosigner. What I'm learning is, if your Wingbits is operational, once you put that Geosigner in, it almost becomes a different kind of station. And if your Geosigner becomes disconnected, or you lose enough satellites, your Wingbits is now offline. Even though you see it on TAR 1090, even though the Wingbits is running, if that Geosigner messes up at all, your station's now offline. So I went over here. First I did try to do a power recycle from the SSH, and that didn't solve the problem. Luckily, this is only about a couple of blocks away, this restaurant. I went back, undid power again, reseated the USB extension into a different USB port, and then it worked. I'm hoping that, again, this is 2.5 hours away. I don't want to have to come back next week. with this, and it's making me rethink any more hosts. But honestly, some of the host stuff has been so problematic that I'm not probably going to do any more hosts anyway. Plus, I would have to move a DIY device, which I don't mind moving one or two, because with this hex issue we having right now, I could probably afford to move one or two, but I don't want to deal with hosts. I don't want to deal with when I have an issue like this and trying to get the host to do something with it. I promise them that they normally don't have to do anything. So, I don't know. So there's just a couple of things that's concerned on my. We know this stuff's new. We know Wingbits is going to have a big announcement come Wednesday or Thursday. Originally, I thought it was Thursday, but it looks like they moved it up a day. I got to find out about that. We don't know really what it's going to be. We were in my live. I do a live normally on Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, for those who make that or want to make it. And we saw that announcement live during my live, that in 6 days there would be a big announcement. So we all started kind of guessing at it and throwing darts at the board blindly on what it could possibly be. I was told by Wingbits, I saw it where it's not TGE, it's not mainnet or anything like that. So now, could it be an announcement for mainnet or TGE? Possibly. Could it be that they are splitting it off into an additional project? Somebody said drone detection. And again, this is all just wild guesses. This is not any kind of inside scoop, but please don't take it like that, because I am praying it is not drone detection. What I did with the Super Bowl, for those who saw my live, I was involved with the Super Bowl with some of the security stuff that they did. Part of it was drone detection. And what I saw from the big time companies that concentrate 100% 24/7 eat, sleep, drink drone detection, a DEPiN crypto project ain't gonna even scratch the surface. And that's just me being real with it. I saw what they were doing. I saw what they had to do. I saw certain things I don't really want to discuss too much, because I don't know how much is private. I don't know how much is private within their own company or anything like that. But I'm telling you, the days of them changing frequencies to avoid drone detection's over with. And it ain't just the drone. They know where the person is, where it took off, where the home is, and stuff like that. I hope that they're not doing drone detection. Could it be doing 978? Somebody mentioned that. I don't know. We don't know. It could just be that they're announcing when TGE is going to be, or they announcing when mainnet's going to be. I know that they said over 50% of people have got their Geosigners in and plugged in, and only less than 5% are in the wrong GPS spot. What I think is, people like me, I have 3 different stations that say they're in the wrong hex. But when we went from paid hexes a while back, was that last year? We went from paid hexes to this new hex 6 resolution for ownership hexes and stuff like that. Well, if before we were grandfathered in that you could have 2 stations almost next to each other, and then they went with the res 6 thing where you can't have more than 1 station in this res. So what they did is, some of our stations, they moved, if you had 2 within 1 hex, they moved the second station to the next hex over that was open. Well, that was fine and dandy until the Geosigner comes in, and now you're plugging the Geosigner in, and it's saying you're in the wrong hex, and it's offline. And they're trying to figure out how they're going to solve that. We followed the directions, we followed the instructions. They said it was okay. Another issue I have is in one spot, I have 2 buddies at work that I also talked into coming to this project, and each one of those has 1 device at their house, and I have one out there also. So we have 3 devices in 1 hex. And how are you going to fix that? Because one guy literally makes about 3 wings a day. Other guy was making, don't quote me on it, but I want to say he's making about 15 to 20 wings a day. And then I was making more than that. Well, my buddy with the 3 wings a day, he gets his Geosigner first, plugs it in first, and now he has the hex locked to him. So me and the other guy who's getting 40, wings combined, we SOL, we out of luck now, because he got to the Geosigner. I don't know how they're going to solve all that. They asked about moving it. Those 2 aren't moving. I had another one that was up the road a little bit that was also in that hex. I was able to move that one over the week to somebody else's location that I could throw, and that's been moved. So that freed up, a hex. So some have been able to be moved, some ain't gonna be able to move. So that's kind of what's going on with Wingbits right now. I think all this is gonna be big. I think it's gonna be worth the trouble. But part of my project, part of my video the other day was whether or not a lot of this stuff's gonna be worth it or not, because some people are spoiled, and I need to finish the video because I think I gotta wear a shirt because I'm afraid that I might offend somebody with what's on my shirt. So I know this looks bad, but it is what it is. I didn't want to change shirts. I got the video finished because I am worried about what are people expecting, not just from Wingbits, but from any DEPiN project. Again, Wingbits, I've always said you have to separate these projects into reality, meaning Helium Network, despite what some people want to argue, has been, mildly successful. You have Demo and WeatherXM and some of these other projects using their network, and it's been successful, and it's scattered all around the world. The mining aspect has been absolute crumbs. But some people will say that this is a complete other failure. I disagree. The network is fine. The problem is what's going to happen to that network when people keep going offline because they're not getting paid anything. But Wingbits could have this this greatly successful network and project. They already got paying customers, but if people with this airdrop aren't getting a Lambo with whatever the price action may be, there can be people in the Discord saying that we've been supporting this project for over a year and this is what we get, $27, because you're seeing that happening in all these other projects. And then you're going to have negative publicity of people saying, oh, that project is a scam, that project is trash, whatever, because people were expecting crazy things. Silencio and Nadix and Sword Chain, they're all getting killed right now with FUD and other stuff because people don't have enough money to get Lambos right in the beginning. Silencio hasn't even really started rewarding yet. And I think when people start getting the rewards from those lotto tickets that they're going to do, I think people are going to change their tune very quickly. And that's why I'm still running Silencio hard. And apparently they got people running it even harder than me because my ranking is going down, up, whatever you want. I was at 575 for the Super Bowl last weekend, and this weekend I'm at 600. And I've been running it every day. So somebody's running it. So I'm just rambling on. I know I got another hour and a half ahead of me for the drive, but I'm gonna stop up here, use the bathroom, and get something to drink. Get out the car, stretch my legs a little bit because I'm tired. So, hey, I think we're ramping up and gonna get ready for some good projects, good bull market. I think we still gotta get through this price action, what's going on, but you just gotta be patient. It's all gonna work out. I watched 2 or 3 videos on the way up here, Tyler and a couple other people talking about how this is going to be good. We just haven't started all that yet. We know that there's positive plans coming up for crypto and everything like that, so we should be getting ready. So I got paid yesterday. I got a lot of stuff going on around the house, and for those who caught my live, I talked a little bit about that, but I still DCA'd into a couple of little things. None of this is financial advice. I just tell y'all what I'm doing, and I bought a little bit of Solana, some VET. I still think VET's a great price. Some Peak. I think Peak was a good price, and it's a little bit Cardano, and then I still have a little bit on the side in case something drops even more on Monday, which notoriously has been dropped. So that about wraps this trip up. It's been a while since I did a Saturday driving video, so I know y'all really missed them. I really wasn't even planning on doing one, but with all this stuff going on, I wanted to document a couple of things. So we'll see what's going to happen with this Wingbits thing. I'm starting, me, I'm paranoid about everything, negative about everything, and now you have to wonder, is the Geosigner just going to be another possible, well, it is, another possible point of failure that you have to be worried about and concerned with all the time. But again, we know why they did it. Their customers that they were dealing with, that they were potentially, going to go into business with or sell data to, whatever. That was one thing that came up on, them being able to verify that devices are where they say they are. And with this, you will be able to. But my worry is that if you do have a device that is faulty, that's, I think I have installed probably, including my 2 hosts that have did this so far, I think I've did 7 devices already, 7 or 8, and 2 of them are having possible issues. But again, I have not seen anybody else online but one person have an issue also, and they made a ticket and taking care of it. But my concern right now is if this Grand Isle station or this other station that I'm having, my other station I'm having, the one is my friend's 400-foot tower, which is, these 2 are my top number 1 and 2 stations. And once you hook up that Geosigner, it's now required. It ain't like you have until March 15th. It's now required once you hook it up, because if it goes offline, the Geosigner, like I just proved to y'all, now your device is offline, even though it's online and you can see stuff, and you go to Wingbits status and it's online. When that Geosigner has any kind of issue, it's now offline. I have my concerns, but then they have to do it like that, because if not, if somebody's trying to game, they'll just say it's having issues. So I don't know. I'm rambling around circles. As far as crypto is concerned, fear and greed index with crypto and Bitcoin is at 41, which is some of the lowest fear we've seen in a while. And we know when there's blood in the streets or when there's fear like this is the time to buy. So I might need to go pick up a little bit of Bitcoin with that extra little cash I got. I don't have a lot, but it's been going straight sideways. If you saw my live on Thursday, where I put the lines in and stuff like that, we know it's coming to the end of this like wedge or something like that, and it's got to go somewhere. We'll see what's going on. But I think whoever's still here watching at this point, I appreciate it. I'll give an update on Monday on what's going on with this device. I can't wait to see some results. If by the time I produced and cut this video, if I have some hexes and results, I'm gonna share them. I don't know what I'm gonna get, since it's only been online for 3 hours now. It's 5 p.m. I don't know when the closing period is for that, but we'll see. I'll give an update on everybody and see. I'm hoping it gets the same results. If it gets the same results as when it was before at my buddy's hunting camp, and he just had the smaller camp and it was only 10 feet off the ground, it's gonna be my number 1 station. However, when I looked at the TAR 1090 screen, I'm clearly not getting the amount of devices, aircraft I was getting before. And part of that is I had to use a 50-foot LMR 400 cable. It was the only choice I had, where in the past there was only a 10-foot. So there's more loss. Even though I added a little more gain to it, it's still got more loss to, that LMR 400 has loss. Also, it's shaded to the north, where the last station wasn't shaded to the north. So to the south, where I'm really concerned with, it looks like I might be getting more hexes. I was getting aircraft at 390, 380, 370 miles away, which I'm extremely happy with. To the south, to the north, not so much, but this tower and some other stations carry the north. We'll see. I'm kind of hyped up to see what happens and what this looks like with everything. So a lot of questions and stuff like that, but we'll work it out. But I appreciate everybody who's watched this far. I didn't mean to make this video this long, but sometimes I feel like I just got to kind of explain myself because people ask questions. So thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.